Man, being Gladys these days is such a nightmare. She makes every effort to live a life that is not entirely governed by her mother Bertha's standards, yet those desires are nearly impossible to resist. She hides in her chamber for the majority of this episode while the Russell home gets ready for her wedding to the Duke of Buckingham. She then tears as she walks down the aisle to marry a man she has probably met less than 5 times. Not even a reception is shown. She is swiftly taken to England on a boat, where the marriage is conducted with little enthusiasm at best. Gladys' backstory here feels far more like Sansa Stark than Cinderella, despite the Gilded Age plotlines being frequently characterized as frivolous. At the very least, the union is a win for Gladys' social ascent, and Bertha is very certain that she will eventually get past it. Mrs. Astor is gagging as well. Bertha can only cry happy tears as her daughter sobs her way down the aisle. Nearly nobody wished to be connected to the Russells 3 years ago. They are now obligated to the British Crown by law. The marriage has been the most costly aspect for me personally, and the cost was high. When Bertha won the opera last season, her status as a single lady peaked. Raising her children's status is the only way to continue growing from that height. Prior to meeting Bertha in season 1, we didn't know much about her life, but the arrival of her sister Monica, the invariably endearing Merritt Weaver, provides fresh background. Although Monica is wry, capable, and inquisitive, qualities that also best characterize Bertha, she does not conform to the image Bertha wishes to project. Nevertheless, Monica embarrasses Bertha since she is susceptible to her manipulation even though she is well aware of her sister's identity. Bertha makes arrangements for church to spill coffee on Monica after expressing disapproval of her attire, which compels her to change. In Albany, Monica appears to lead a pleasant middle-class life, a kind of ideal averageness that Bertha wishes she had none of. Bertha believes it is worth it to destroy these familial ties since she wants this social capital and actual capital so badly. It's simply the cost of playing poker. I don't mean that in a positive sense. Some people may say that it's the American way. Although Bertha is totally uninterested in their point of view, it's not that she can't see why someone would desire a more modest and loving life. The fact that Bertha is still palatable after these recent episodes is a credit to Carrie Coon's acting prowess. She has consistently been the finest character on the program because she refuses to accept no as an option. However, she is turning into a blatant villain. In order to understand Bertha's behavior, I expect to see more Monica or at the very least, more members of the O'Brien family. Perhaps the Irish-sounding maiden name hints at why she felt so distant from polite society for so long. Portrays these people, pre-61st Street selves in a quite cagey manner. Though they all pale in comparison to the interplay between Gladys and Bertha, our other significant families are meeting the past and the future. The parents of Dr. William Kirkland, the doctor who treated Peggy and developed a romantic relationship with her following the season premiere, were presented by the show last week. Elizabeth, Felicia Rashad, who is startlingly contemptuous of Arthur after learning that he was formerly a slave, is considerably more hospitable to the Scots than his father, Frederick, Brian Stokes Mitchell. Although there isn't much more growth on this front yet, it is encouraging to see the Gilded Age provide its black protagonists the same freedom to examine their wealth hierarchy as its white counterparts. It's nice to see Peggy with a plot that isn't entirely terrible or horrifying, and the dynamics are complex. In the meantime, things are becoming a little crazy in the Forte/Van Ryn/Brooke household. Agnes is still grieving the loss of her great fortune, and Ada is grieving her late husband Luke by using a medium, played by, who else but Andrea Martin. Ada's coping mechanisms are certainly more entertaining to watch than Agnes, whose main characteristic is, resistant to change. There appears to be an increasing number of women on the fringes of society with Agnes, Aurora Fane, and the soon-to-be sing Charlotte Astor, but it hasn't quite come together yet during the Bertha and Gladys show. Marian has also been spending a lot more time at the Russell residence, even becoming a bridesmaid in Gladys' wedding, but it was Larry's move rather than hers. When she appears wearing the outfit, she explains, "I just stood still while they made it fit," which seems about correct. Because of her family's downward mobility, Marian is also on Bertha's list of persons she doesn't want to marry, especially her son. It's ironic since her daughter was recently married off to a destitute duke. There is at least one individual who is obviously upwardly mobile, Jack